I've got to go.
Listen, did I say something wrong?
I couldn't see straight or think straight. I was a fat-headed guy full of pain. It tore me up not having you.
I was married for a long time, and since then there hasn't been anybody.
He had spent all of his life thinking about his career and his work, and he was 52, and it suddenly struck him that he had never really given anything of himself.
You broke my heart!
Puma.
I thought you had gone.
No.
What? Nothing. What?
Tu saresti capace di piantare tutto e ricominciare la vita da capo? Di scegliere una cosa sola e di essere fedele a quella. Riuscire a farla diventare la ragione della tua vita.
E tu saresti capace?
If there's any kind of magic in this world, it must be in the attempt of understanding someone, sharing something. I know, it's almost impossible to succeed, but who cares, really? The answer must be in the attempt.
T'es amoureuse de lui?
Bien sûr que non, je suis pas amoureuse de lui, je sais pas, je me sentais toute seule. Mais j'ai jamais voulu te faire de mal.
Hello. Why don't you make yourself a cup of tea or grab a glass of wine or whatever beverage works for you, and let's have a little chat. I don't present myself as any kind of expert who's going to solve your life right now, but I think I could be a friend. I think I could be someone who just tries to make you feel better, and I'll try and help you sort through everything you're feeling right now. Maybe it is the end of a relationship that you believed was the love of your life. Maybe it's someone who doesn't reciprocate your feelings and you feel hurt and frustrated because you've shared so much with this person and they're just behaving as though nothing has happened. They're not returning your messages, your calls, just sort of treating you like a stranger, and they didn't even really give you a chance to get started, to see where this love story could go. Perhaps you're the one who left, and that hurts as well. Maybe you wanted so badly for this relationship to work, but you knew in your heart that it is broken and you had to leave, and now you are just so much in pain thinking about that person on their own, and you're tempted to go back just because this person is still your best friend. Maybe it's the end of a chapter in which you built something with someone. You built a family, a home, a business. Perhaps they helped you through an illness, or perhaps you were the carer and now you're trying to make a path for yourself. Or maybe it's been years since you've been with someone because you were hurt last time so deeply that you just don't have the energy or the courage to put yourself out there again and risk being so disappointed. I understand all of these scenarios, and I'm going to try and help you sort through your thoughts. Here are some of the things you might be feeling right now. That was my one chance at love, and they blew it, or I blew it. Something came in and ruined it, and now my one chance at love is gone. So was everything we shared not real and a waste of months or years of my life? How can I possibly go through my day without thinking of them every second? The thought of going back out there, of dating, of being on an app, just makes me sick or exhausted or scared or depressed at the thought of starting all over again. What did I do wrong? I don't deserve this. I gave that person everything. Nothing lasts. You can't trust anyone. Love is only for the young or the beautiful or the naive. Is this it for me now? Will I not have children? Will I live alone? Will I die alone? I know it's sometimes scary to hear these things out loud, but actually it's the best thing we can do to acknowledge your pain, acknowledge your fear, and that's the only way that you're going to get through this, is if you acknowledge it. If you just sort of push it away and pretend it's not there, it gets really toxic and it festers and comes out in some other part of your life. But if you acknowledge it and you say, what is my biggest fear here? What am I really worried about? Let's acknowledge all of that, and now let's look at how we can approach things. Friends and family. Invariably, if you have a good friend or family member who cares about your welfare, they are going to say one of those really frustrating, trite phrases like, there are plenty of other fish in the sea, I never liked her or him, you're better off without them, time heals all wounds, you've just got to put yourself out there, there's someone for everyone. And all of these things can drive you mad if you're in the depths of your pain, because even though these people mean well, I think the subtext, what we hear and what alienates us from these people is your love wasn't valid. Your instincts are wrong. What you felt, what you felt for this person is not real. It wasn't real. You were living in a dream world. And of course, that's not what people mean. Sometimes it might be, but I think that's why it hurts, because it's sort of one of our biggest fears probably is that our instincts are wrong, that we got fooled somehow, right? And I think that the first thing to tell yourself really is that this happens to people. It's happened to people all throughout history. I personally, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails from people all over the world, and one of the greatest things that it gifts me is perspective. It really educates me, because I can see that I'm getting emails from people who are very wealthy, people who are much older than me, people who are young and beautiful and have youth on their side, people from very lucky countries, and people who are have come from very good families, have a lot of love in their home, all different situations. And yet heartbreak does not discriminate. It can happen to us all, and it does happen to most people. Sure, there are people out there who are lucky and find the love of their life very young, and then they hang on to them and marry them and have this beautiful life together. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. Of course it does, but I don't think it's so easy for the majority of us. You guys know that I'm romantic, but I'm also very pragmatic in some regards. I'm very fortunate to have two parents who are very much in love. They've had a 40-year marriage, and there has been respect. They are best friends. There is romance. There is teamwork. And so it's a wonderful example. So it means I believe in love, but I'm also quite cautious, because I've seen the work that goes into having a long-term, enduring relationship like that.
Be kind to yourself, and maybe don't fixate on this idea of the one.
Although I'm a dreamer, I don't think everyone has just one other human on this planet, and if you don't find them, or if you do and then lose them, you've lost your only soulmate, your only chance at love. There are certainly connections that feel destined, and if you found your soulmate, then lucky you, marry them, don't take them for granted. But if you're someone who's just broken up with your greatest love and you feel bereft and you feel you will never experience this kind of depth or euphoria again, trust me, trust in the soul's desire to connect. You can find a different but equally intense love with another in this lifetime. One of the things I know I feel when I'm heartbroken, when a relationship ends, is, okay, so was everything we shared not real? And I think this can be a little bit of an unhealthy way to see things, because we have this, I suppose, this narrative of, if it doesn't last forever, then it was a failure. And this is just, it's too much pressure on us. I mean, of course, you guys know I really believe in monogamy. I believe in marriage. I believe in creating a family. But I don't think we need to put ourselves under so much pressure to say if something doesn't last forever, it is invalid. It wasn't worth it. It was a waste of our time. And I know this might be difficult to hear right now, but every single person that we open ourselves up to teaches us a little bit more about ourselves. Think about love, think about relationships like martial arts, okay? And imagine you are just in this room by yourself and you're going over and training and training and training, and you're working out how to move and duck and punch and kick and be prepared for any kind of attack that comes your way. But of course, anyone who is doing martial arts, they can't just train alone. At a certain point, they have to get in the ring or get in the room with an opponent. They have to interact with someone. I won't sugarcoat it. There is a high probability of getting hurt. But every time you put yourself out there, every time you get in the ring, remember you're fighting for something rare and precious, to love and be loved. That is quite a prize. You can't expect it to come without a battle with yourself, with your insecurities, with sharpening your instincts with others. And these are all skills that are transferable to other parts of your life. So there is not just that one prize of a soulmate. Getting hurt, being misunderstood, it can come from the office, relatives, social media, a person cutting you off in traffic. I believe mastering how to understand others and how we respond to them is a worthy fight. Best case, you come out of it with the love of your life. Worst case, you heighten your EQ, that is your emotional intelligence, and save yourself a lifetime of high blood pressure, conflict, and stress. I think I mentioned in one of my videos that segment with Alain de Botton, and he says, really, a relationship is the most incredible opportunity for growth, for evolution, for us to become the best version of ourselves. And he said, and yet the irony is most of us are too defensive and cannot deal with criticism. But they said, he said, when you're living with someone or when you're in a serious long-term relationship with someone, they're the people who see us at our worst. And even sometimes friends don't see that side of us. They don't see us when after a hard day at work, when we're exhausted, when we're not funny and we're not polite and we're not, just fun to be around. They see us really at our worst, and they also see us at our best, because fragility, I think, can be really sexy. It can be really attractive. I mean, to see someone who is frail, that's, I think, the biggest compliment, isn't it? Maybe you don't agree, but I think it is, because it's sort of saying, hey, look, this is me. I'm showing you this side of me that not everyone gets to see. So back to Alain de Botton, he's saying, when you're in a relationship, it's this chance to have this mirror put up to you. And look, the way in which they reflect you might be cruel, or it might just be clumsy. But if you can manage to sort of put aside the things that were hurtful and say, is there any truth in this? Is there anything that, look, maybe they didn't communicate it in the best way, but is there something there that I can grab onto and learn from? I don't know what you believe. It might be that God has a path for you. It may be that destiny or fate, it's written in the stars. Or perhaps you believe in the scientific probability of meeting someone with whom you have compatibility, right? Now, whatever it is, whether it's the universe, God, or random chance, I think at some point we have to take initiative and say, I'm going to give it the best chance possible. And I don't think that we can just sit at home and expect that love will just knock on our door. I'm a romantic. I watch all of these films and I dream. Of course I do. But what's the saying? God helps those who help themselves. We have to put something out there. We have to take initiative. And you don't need to do that straight away because, of course, when you're in this much pain, the tendency is to want to replace that comfort, that partner, that affection, that touch, that person to call at night, that message, that late night message. You want to replace that straight away because it hurts so much, and so you just think it's like you have a leaky boat and you just want to plug up the hole to stop yourself from sinking. I would advise against that because right now you're not thinking straight. Or if you're like me, when I'm heartbroken or just in the depths of real grief over something ending, it's impossible to think clearly. And so you don't really want to be rushing into something else while you're not thinking clearly, because that's just going to compound your pain. If you're going to go to someone else and you may think, it's just about revenge, or you just got to get back out there and get back up on the horse, so to speak. I think it can be a bit too soon, and just there's no rush, because you might be a woman who's worried about fertility. You might be someone who is towards the latter part of your life, and you may think, look, I'm at an age where I haven't got much time to waste. But I think healing yourself and just recovering from whatever's just happened, that's not a waste of time, because you want to get back out there when you are yourself. Okay, you knew this was coming. I'm going to have to be a bit hard on you. You need to stop listening to sad music, looking at them on social media, going through old photos. You need to stop, okay? Not forever, but just right now. Because right now, you're fragile, you're emotional. Give yourself a fighting chance. I mean, for me, music is just so evocative. If I listen to anything in a minor key, I could pretty much weep. So you don't want to be doing that right now when you're already so susceptible to melancholy. Stop with the sad music. Obviously give yourself a day, a week, a month, whatever you need to just grieve the end of the relationship. But discern the difference between grieving the end of the relationship and grieving the end of love. It's not necessarily the end of love for you. It is the end of this relationship. And people say, there's plenty of other people. Look, I don't completely agree there, because what you had is unique. You'll never find this same rapport that you had with this person. Of course, you're going to feel this sadness because it is ending, and you won't find that exact relationship ever again, because it's two unique human beings, and what you had can't be replicated. But it's important to distinguish the impossibility of replicating that relationship with the impossibility of love. No, you're totally capable of finding love again, and it doesn't feel like it now, and maybe that's not the path for you. I mean, you might just have had that one love and that might be enough for you, but it's just important to remember that we can, and there are countless examples of people throughout history who can fall in love more than once, and it's not there's no hierarchy necessarily. You don't need to say, okay, this was my great love and this person was inferior. No, people bring out different sides of us because we're all so multifaceted. You know, we're not these two-dimensional characters. We all have so many different possibilities within our character. And I've been fortunate to experience this, and I'm sure many of you have lived in foreign countries will agree with me here that, you know, when you're in a foreign country, I mean, I'm always, my core is the same, is constant, but certainly living in Japan brought out a slightly different side of me than when I was living in Spain, for example. Living in London, different side from when I was living in Monaco. And so I think relationships are like this too. I mean, you must see it with friends, right? It doesn't mean that one friend is better or worse than the other, but certain friends, they just bring out your playful side and you become funnier because they just happen to bring that out in you. Other friends bring out, they sort of motivate you. They really bring out that side of you that is a high achiever and is very ambitious and disciplined, and they're the type of friends that, you know, get you leading a healthier lifestyle. I don't know what type, what facets of yourself you want to enhance or focus on, but that's an important question to ask yourself. Were you in love with the version of you that this person brought out? Because you might say, oh yeah, I was so happy with them because you're looking through photos of you two smiling together, but I'm not talking about just the moments when you're on vacation or when you were dancing or when you were kissing or whatever. I'm talking about holistically, how you were as a whole being with them. For example, if you were waiting for a message and you got very anxious or very jealous or very suspicious when you were waiting for a message for them, did you like that version of yourself? Did you feel like that was how you are, or do you feel like that is a part of your personality, and so you don't want to be with someone who makes you even more jealous than you are by nature?
I once asked a friend why they continued to tolerate a person who didn't make them a priority, who was kind of disrespectful. And this friend replied very honestly and said, I guess it's because I'd rather wait around in hope and make justifications for this person's bad behavior than face the reality that there is no one in my life. And sometimes the drama is preferable to admitting that you're alone. So let's face what for many of us is the biggest fear, to be alone and all that society associates with that. I want to remind you that any of us can and do feel these things. A partner is not immunity from pain. Of course, the right partner can be a wonderful support, but the wrong partner can make every challenge in your day just feel like you're trying to achieve it underwater. People who don't know how to process low self-esteem or have a deep fear of abandonment will often try to make us feel ashamed so we don't leave them. They can make us feel guilty about our dreams. They can turn their back on you in the evening and be so cold that lying beside them in a bed is lonelier than sleeping by yourself. They can see you stressed or cry and do nothing and make you feel like your pain is crazy. Now consider you're waking up with clean, fresh independence. You are the architect of your day. You're not on trial with someone continually accusing you of things. You're free. You don't have to exert any energy convincing someone to understand your point of view. You don't have to waste time with toxic emotions like rage or resentment or just even everyday bickering about the same issue over and over. You already believe in your dream. You already trust yourself. So no time is wasted on suspicion or justifications. You are autonomous and limited only by your imagination. When you fall into bed at the end of a day of honest hard work, making your dreams a reality, whether that be caring for a child, earning money to put food on the table, getting up that extra hour earlier to exercise and get your body into the best fitness and health of your life, cooking the food that makes you feel nourished or comforted, making a plan to move to that city or country that you love, laughing on the phone with that friend whose sense of humor only you get, choosing to watch that film that is your guilty pleasure, taking time for yourself without having to ask permission from anyone. That will have you feeling healthy, triumphant, and proud. Life is beautiful shared with the right partner, but it's also beautiful when you step out of the shadows and fulfill your innate potential. Yes, society tells us it is sad to be alone, but do you know what else is sad? To die without knowing who you could truly become, given enough freedom to shine and soar.
My hope is with this video that maybe by looking at the comments or the views or just the fact that I had to make this because I've received like thousands, literally thousands of emails on this topic, you'll realize that you're not alone and that what you're going through is totally normal. Doesn't mean that it's not incredibly hard. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's not excruciating, but you can get through this, and I know it doesn't seem possible, but you will also learn from this, and I hope you get to that point very soon.